Yo, what's up, everybody? It's another episode of Chopping It Up. Here again outside in, what is this, Plaza Midwood? Where we at?
Plaza Midwood.
It's cold as crap.
It is.
My hands are freezing.
Windy.
But we out here. I'm with my homegirl, Andrea. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So this is the first episode, you guys, I didn't get to get on location because of time constraints and things of that nature. But second episode, we're trying to do better. We're at Cilantro Noodle.
Yep.
It's a Vietnamese spot, right?
Yeah, so they have traditional Vietnamese food. They have pho, fried rice bowls, which is what I got, my personal favorite, and other spring rolls, stuff like that. So it's really good. I usually come here for lunch since I work down the street.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so it's my first time trying Vietnamese, so I'm like, it's a new show.
You never had Vietnamese before?
I've never had Vietnamese. I'm basic. I'm basic. I'm not picky, but I'm basic meaning like I don't just go out to. We're gonna talk about this. I don't just go to restaurants by myself a lot. I need to start doing that. But I'm just like, let me just go find a new spot. I don't got that many friends to be able to do that. So you look at Tulsa, see, you already started. Mm-hmm. But so we're here with my girl Dre. It's the second episode of Chopping It Up. She's a business owner, social media expert, all that good stuff. She's a former basketball player. She loves sneakers. We're gonna talk about all of this stuff in this second episode. I got the fried rice bowl. She got the fried rice bowl. So you guys stay tuned. All right, so what's up, guys? Back again, another episode of Chopping It Up. You saw us just outside a minute ago, outside of the restaurant Cilantro Noodle, the Vietnamese spot. Now we're back at the crib, just about to chop it up. Once again with my homie Dre. So you already started.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She was hungry.
I was digging in.
So because this is her spot, she put me. I suggested it just because I seen it as something new, but you kind of put me onto it, right?
Yeah. So I need you to dig in, get you a taste.
Let's see what's good with this. All right, but so you said you had tofu in yours?
Yeah. So mine has bean sprouts, fried rice, maple glazed tofu because I am pescatarian, so most of the time I just eat vegetarian. Bell peppers, cilantro, of course, and jalapenos.
I wonder if you don't get cilantro there, will they get mad at you like a cilantro noodle?
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Put
so
cilantro in there.
Right. This is kind of straight. All right.
Listen, you ain't got no sauce in there.
Get a little more. I got some sauce. Come on. Okay.
You gotta get some sweet and sour sauce in there.
Okay. We doing it up over here.
Yes. Okay. We gotta get it right.
It's all right. So, for those of you who don't know, everybody that knows me probably knows who this is because we went to the same school, right?
Yeah,
so we went to Wingate University. Did we graduate the same year? Did we come out the same year?
I don't know because I was there for grad school.
Yeah, you were there for grad school. So what year did you graduate grad school?
December 2016.
Okay, so we were there. So I graduated 2015.
Okay,
So undergrad, 2015. So this is Wingate is how we know each other, through mutual friends. Yeah, definitely. So talk to me a little bit about just life after college. I'm gonna talk about myself, life after college, but just life after grad school for you, and I'll talk about life after Wingate for me.
Yeah, life after college. It was weird because I played basketball undergrad and then was lucky enough to have an additional year for grad school because I redshirted 1 year. So it was weird because it was also my transition away from basketball. So it was just a lot of change all at once.
Yeah.
And then diving into the workforce, which was horrible.
Yeah, right.
It's horrible,
right.
But no, it's all good, all blessings. But yeah, that was probably the hardest thing for me was trying to figure out who I was outside of basketball. And I've been doing this since I was 2, so
yeah. And
I really don't even play that much anymore.
Really?
Yeah, Lucas, my husband, tries to get me to play all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. It's been a lot, just constant practices, and
right.
I'm like, I need a break. And he's like, it's been 5 years. I'm like, I need time. I need time.
I mean, I get that. If you've been doing it for a long time, it's I need to chill for a bit. So I understand that.
I mean, I love the game, obviously, and still watch. And my parents, they bought us a basketball hoop for our house. Yeah, we still have to put it together. But we had one previously, but it broke. So they bought us one for our anniversary. They're so sweet. But
Anniversary gift.
Yeah. 'Cause we don't, we're super practical. And like, if we're not going to use it, it's like.
Why not sneakers?
Yeah.
We're going to get to that though, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So they bought us one and we got to put it together and we might do that soon. Because we have a kid across the street. He's always just dribbling outside, and I'm like, we got to put our hoop together, at least for him, give him some place to shoot. But that's
and like for me, like the same thing when you said the workforce, because I'm like, I said this on the first episode, but I'm like, after I graduated in 2015, I didn't get my first full-time job till July this past year. I've been working part-time jobs for like the last 4 years, trying to get something in my field, and it's like, out in Charlotte, it's like really, really hard to get something in the marketing, communications, digital space. So, because it's nothing but making and breweries out here, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or it's really competitive, and you need to know someone and network and do all that stuff, which is fine. But for me, I know I'm introverted, and I'm like, I don't like small talk, so it's awkward for me to try and fake these conversations, but it just takes time. It takes a lot of time, which is disappointing, but
So you said, talk a little about your childhood. You said you started playing basketball at 2 years old. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know basketball was in the blood. It's like, did your parents play?
My dad played. He played in college too.
Okay.
He will tell you a bunch of stories how he played against Patrick Ewing.
All right. So he played D1. Oh, big D1. Oh.
So I think he only ended up playing for like 2 years in college. My dad has a huge family, and they're also Haitian.
Okay.
And my mom's side is Jamaican, but so he kind of
Island vibes in here. Okay.
Yeah, all the time. Island vibes. Listen, we love our culture, but it's a tough childhood.
Right.
Very strict parents, but for the best.
Right.
But yeah, he played, and then eventually, you gotta take care of yourself, and so I think he stopped to work. Shocker there.
You're right.
But yeah, so I mean, I grew up playing. I played travel, varsity in high school, and so I was always on the road. People ask, "Oh, what are you doing?" Like, I have basketball. I have practice. I have a game. Like, what are you doing this weekend? I will be somewhere else.
Student
like,
athlete,
yeah. So it's just how it's always been, and my parents they push education too. So I was a jock, but also in like AP classes.
Oh, wow.
And
All right.
it was wild times. So if I wasn't playing basketball, I was studying.
Yeah.
Talk
Staying
about
out of
that
trouble.
life
For a second, like being like a student athlete, because I'm like, y'all had it rough. Y'all had it rough.
Man.
But,
student athlete.
Right.
I mean, it's tough in high school, but when you get to college, it's just insane. You wake up at 5, you got to go to the track and do conditioning. And then after that, if you don't have class, you're in the weight room. Go to class, maybe try and get some lunch, and then take a nap maybe, try. There's just a lot of naps.
Yeah.
No, like, full rest, I feel like.
Right.
But then you have film, and then you got skill.
Yeah.
You got practice. You got to go back to class.
Right.
And you got it is a lot. But after I finished playing, a couple overseas teams reached out to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Coach Sherry Lee, she's not at Wingate anymore, but I think she's at Duquesne. I don't know.
Talking about the head coach?
No, she was the assistant when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah. She was like, hey, like, we've had some teams reach out about you. Like, do you want to play? And I was just like, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. I had like 1 semester left of grad school, and I was like, no, I can't do it. So I don't know. Do I regret it? Not really, but at the same time, it's like, it would have been cool.
Yeah.
But I travel so much anyways.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. We're gonna get in. Yeah, she be traveling. Like, I'm still here, be at work, and she's just like posting pictures in like Sweden and Nova Scotia. She be like
I did just get back from Stockholm.
Whatever it says. What else? I said Sweden. It's the same thing, right?
Sweden, yeah.
It's in Sweden. I don't even know how you get to Sweden. I just know it's just like it's country people, or was it country content? I don't know the difference, but it's a place. She be traveling. Like she traveling. Like, talk about your traveling. I wouldn't call it escapades, but your traveling experiences. Talk about your travel experience. Like, what made you like get into like travel and stuff like that, or like just like the traveling so much? Because people go to Bahamas, Jamaica, and call themselves travelers, but I don't really call that traveling, because everybody and their mama go to Jamaica, and Bahamas.
Stays at an all-inclusive
resort or whatever like
that's
that.
Americanized. Like, okay.
So the culture's really important to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, because like I talked about earlier, I've traveled all across the states just for basketball. So, I've been to Kansas. It's very flat, very boring out there.
Yeah, I got a coworker that's from Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Okay, I'm from Pittsburgh. Oh, cool. Kansas. No.
Yeah, she's like, I went to Pittsburgh State. I'm like, Pittsburgh State? You went to Pennsylvania? No, Kansas. Like, what?
See?
Yeah, so I never heard of that.
So I've been Texas, California, went to Hawaii with the Wingate team. That was amazing.
I still don't know how that happened, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Because I'm like, how'd they go to Hawaii?
They went to Italy the year after. Yeah, it was like the very next year. I was like, how? What the hell?
Yeah, what money?
Yeah. No, but that was a really, really cool experience. So, I've always been traveling, and again, my parents are huge on education, so they want us to see the world and to learn about other cultures, because some people get stuck here. Right. And it's like, this is the only thing I've ever known, and every other country is garbage. And it's like, you need to get out of your shell. Not everyone has the resources to travel, but I feel like as long as you have that mindset, like, to want to learn and to see other things, like, that's the first step. Some people don't even have that. Like, I have a coworker who's never been on a plane, which is fine.
I've never been on a plane either. I told her that. She couldn't believe it. She was like, what?
Yeah. But then he was like, but I just don't want to. And I'm like,
nah.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to go everywhere.
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean you don't want to? Like, not many people want to be on a plane, but they want to get to the destination. Like, right. That's the point. I want to go somewhere. Like, what am I not living on this plane? Right. But he was like, oh, no. And I'm like.
How old was he?
I don't know. 20-something.
In his 20s? And you don't want to travel?
I know.
I know. He must have had a boring college life. Or just like, or something. I don't, just like, because everybody wants to travel. I don't want to stay in Charlotte forever. But at the same time, I'm like, I get like the whole comfortableness because I'm like, I got a homegirl. Remember Alex? Remember Worse? Yeah. She's from Salisbury, but she moved to Indiana like 2 years ago for radio, and then moved to New York and for another radio gig. And I'm like,
for her, man.
I'm like, you got out of the city, but it's just like people were scared to by herself too, with no.
People are scared. I think that's the thing is. They just don't know what to expect, and they are comfortable. Right. And it's like, why would I mess this up? It's like, but why do you want it to stay the same? So, Lucas is from Germany, so we've been all over the world. We went to Australia a year ago. That was amazing. We stayed there for a month because he has his grandma's down there and one of his aunts.
You had a job too while you were up there? That's crazy.
So we went to Germany. I just got back from Norway and Sweden. Yeah. We're gonna go to Amsterdam in May. How else have we been? And
so that's 2 months in between, right? Yeah.
Listen, I just be telling my job, hey, listen, I'm just not gonna be here, so you better get it together.
That's crazy. I'm like, where's PTO coming from? Like, is PTO just coming out the sky, y'all? Like Like, where you? Shoot.
I'm also very lucky in the fact that I am like, hey, can I do this? And usually they're like, yeah, just, make sure all your stuff is covered. I'm like, cool. And then I just leave.
You'd be out. I wish I had the luxury to do that.
I really don't ask.
You seen that meme? You seen that meme? It was like millennials when they get like, I'm gonna be out this day. Don't ask for vacation days. It's a meme on Facebook. A meme on Facebook that's like millennials don't ask for vacation time off. They just like, I'm gonna be out this day, and then that's it. And
just like, letting you know you're about to be short
staffed. And they just go and just like, yeah, that's very millennial-esque.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oops. But it's about work-life balance. I have some coworkers, they've been at the company a year. I've never taken a PTO day. And it's like, oh, please get out the office. Like, you need to explore and see the world. See the States. Like, there's so many different cultures within the States that you don't have to pay, $500 for a plane ticket.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, I don't know. Personally, I'm just a get up and go kind of person. Like, all right, let's go. Let's see what happens. But there are a lot of people who, they might have all the resources in the world, and they're just like, I don't know. I'm like, go.
So do you like? So is it like you travel by yourself and doing vacations, or just always been with somebody? Or have you ever went to like a space by yourself and just? I
haven't done any solo travel. I would love to, but so usually I go with Lucas. Or this past it was a week ago.
See, she just said so much. She don't even.
Yeah,
know,
I don't remember. When I went to when I went to Stockholm in Sweden, I went with a couple friends.
Okay.
But I would love to. It's just like I just haven't had to.
Yeah.
So I just haven't.
I think that's also discourages like something like with me. Like I was telling you, like once I get some things in order, I'm just gonna go to Miami this summer. I'm just gonna go by myself. But I'm like, not a lot of people just like have the friends to be able to. And then solo traveling is kind of.
Well, first of all, trying to coordinate multiple people is a nightmare. You could be like, this is what we're doing on this day.
Right.
This is how much it's going to cost. And people be like, oh, yeah, I'm totally in. And then when it's time to make that deposit, it's like, oh, actually, it's like, all right, I get it. Life happens.
Yeah.
So you might as well just make the plans for yourself.
And just go by yourself.
And say, I'm going.
Right.
If you would like to accompany me, this is what I'm doing. But you should go. Yeah.
I'm gonna get out there. Like,
yeah.
So
you also said you didn't have anywhere to go.
I don't got nowhere. I mean, I could just go out there and just go.
Exactly.
I could do that, but I don't want to end up in Kansas.
Okay, but
just pick again. But
yeah, Miami. You said there's got to be other places you want to go.
Yeah.
California.
Yeah. And I got people. I know people out there.
See.
I was definitely gonna go to California this summer, but that's one other story. But I was roll my eyes on that. But
don't tempt me with the weekend trip, okay? I'm like,
That was a weekend trip.
Oh, we should
That's
go.
expensive. And now when I stay by myself, like almost $900 for a weekend for 2 days.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
For 2 days, and then the third day you travel. Nah, no sir. And I stay by myself. I got to get a hotel. I can't stay at your hotel. No.
So you gotta use Hotel Tonight. It's a good app.
Hotel Tonight.
Yeah. So you can like book out, but also if you just need a hotel for the night, it'll give you discounted rates. Like
she got all the tips.
Yeah, I have a lot of travel apps.
So like, what's the worst experience you had traveling, and then like the best? So what's the worst if you got a worst story for me? It's like traveling, like a worst or funny story.
Oh, this is the worst self-inflicted travel story. I went to Canada for my best friend's wedding, and I went by myself because we were dealing with immigration, so he couldn't leave the country.
I'm gonna get into.
I guess that was a solo travel, but it was for a wedding, so it wasn't like I didn't go to explore,
Yeah.
And I had to leave the next day, so the The wedding was on
in
Saturday.
Day, and then
well, I went for like 3 days.
Okay.
But I had to leave the day after the wedding.
Okay.
It was a great wedding. I think I drank like 2 bottles of wine. It was so bad. I missed my flight the next day because it was very early.
Oh, man.
It was terrible. And I was so hungover. So I got to the airport and like I could see, it was a tiny airport. I could see the plane. And I was like, please just let me on this plane. Please just let me. And she was like, I'm sorry, like I can't. But they got me on their flight, which is really nice because Canadians are very nice. Like that's not like
it's not just he said.
Yeah, they are very, very nice. But I had, oh my gosh, so I was so sick. So I just like slept in the airport bathroom for like 3 hours. It was horrible. And then I was sick the entire flight back. It was awful.
All for 6 hours of fun.
It was 100% my fault. And I was like, this is the worst experience I've ever had in my life. Because you got to get on a plane, nauseous. Yeah. Now I'm about to throw up on this daggone plane.
Yeah.
So that was the worst. The best?
Or funniest, if you got the best. You don't really got best, not really funniest. So if that was the worst, that's kind of pretty funny too. I don't know if that could tie. If you could tie being hungover on a plane. For how long was the flight?
Don't do it. Too long. It was too long. It was so bad. Oh my gosh.
So like, what's like one thing that you've learned that you can take away over the last 2 years? That's like you learned about yourself or just about marriage. That's like a major key.
So I have anxiety, like pretty bad anxiety, so I go to therapy. I just started like a couple months ago. Therapy's great. Everyone should go.
Yeah, most definitely.
But being in therapy and just like having someone to talk to who's like unbiased, doesn't really know much about it.
That helps, right?
Yeah, it helps a lot because, you know, it kind of like takes you out of the situations.
Right.
And has you look at it a different way and be like, okay, does this actually make sense?
Right.
But the one thing that I learned was, like I said, I'm an over communicator. So I will sit here and talk to you for hours about my feelings. And I'm like, okay, I told you how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Why don't you understand? Or like, why are you not on the same page? But so I learned that even though I'm over communicating or like I am communicating, sometimes it's not effective communication.
And I did a video about that. Didn't I do it? I did a video about that. But yeah, I did, because I think that's key.
Yeah.
Like effective communication.
It's like you can be talking, but like, what are you saying?
Right.
You know? So that was one thing where my therapist was like, yes, you're telling your husband how you're feeling, but is it in the most effective way for him to understand?
Right.
And that's something that I've just had to kind of shift and be like, okay, how can I express my feelings in a way that makes sense and not just talking.
Right.
So definitely you need to learn how your partner learns, essentially.
Right.
You know, people talk about love language a lot. Like, what's your partner's love language? Which is important. Yeah. Like, it is.
As you roll your eyes.
I mean...
like, baloney.
But I think when it comes to love language, people take it too superficial. Like, oh, your partner loves gifts. It's like, okay. Like, doesn't everyone? You know, essentially, it's like your love language, whatever it is a gift just in different forms. So it's like, whatever, you know.
She says she's not reading no books about it. She's like
my gift is affection, you know, or like physical gifts. Like either way, it's, you know, I think it's the same thing. But I think it's more important to try and understand how your partner thinks.
Right.
Because it's like if you don't understand what they're thinking or how they work through things, you're always going to be butting heads if it's not the same way that you think about things. I mean, that comes from like my dad too, because I just get really frustrated with people when they don't process information the same way I do.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I get pissed off just trying to tell somebody. I hate telling people to do stuff twice.
Oh, yeah. But so my dad is always like, you have to understand that other people don't think the same way as you. They don't process information the same. So, right. It's like, I don't understand, but okay. Yeah. But it's like, so you're explaining it and it makes perfect sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to them.
Right.
So just effective communication.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Yeah. I think that like that's like pivotal. You know, I think even just in like friendships and like relationships, like that's one thing. Like I don't know if you've seen in the video, the effective communication thing. I talked about like how like I'm really like I like to not talk a lot, but effectively communicate via text message. Like I'm do media journalism, whatever like that. I'm open ended.
Yeah.
I don't like close ended conversations. Some people are just like, yeah, I had a good day. And I'm like, how do I feed off of that? Like I'm trying to talk to you or whatever, do that. And like one thing I had to realize is that like not everybody grew up the same in terms of like communication. Like some people might communicate a certain type of way because they were told to be quiet. They weren't told to express their opinion growing up, so they kept it all inside and stuff like that. So it's just like I'm realizing that one, I can't really place a whole like not a value, but I guess value is the word, like a big value on like text messages. Like I'm like, okay, text me back.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I place a lot of value and I do that. And I've put women in that kind of like friendships with women. I put girlfriend like expectations on women that are just friends.
Yeah.
You know,
and talking about this a little bit.
Yeah, I'll put girlfriend like expectation on girls that are just friends, and I'm just like you're like, we're just friends, and I'm like, text me back. Like, why aren't you not texting me back? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to talk to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I have to get out of that. But then it's also too like, I said this, and it's probably like hella shallow.
Oh Lord, where you about to go?
It's hella shallow. But like, I can't have, and I said this, people probably gonna rag on me. But like, I'm just saying, I can't have like a lot of girls friends that are like girlfriends that are like attractive, because it's like it's hard to have friends that are girls that are attractive.
Oh Lord, here we go. You better learn.
I'm learning. Like I'm this past couple years, I've been learning in that area. Like having friends that are attractive, but it's like it's hard for me to just like what I'm saying, to keep it in the friend zone. I think partly. It relates back to Wingate, like all my experiences with women at Wingate, where I was trying to be a friend first, and then I like, oh, I like you, or whatever, and then they'd be like, oh no, but then I repeat the cycle and do it again. So that's kind of how it started, with it being hard for me to have girls as just friends, because every girl that I had that was a friend, I tried to be more than friends with, but.
But it's also good that you recognize that,
You're right,
and that you're trying to progress.
Yeah.
Because some people they don't, and they're just like, well, I don't know what's wrong. It's like, okay, hold on, let's take a step back. But okay.
Yeah, you look at what you got. What?
Just saying.
It's just different. What's your opinion on that phrase of me saying that? I know it's not the first time you probably heard it. That's how you're like, oh, all right, okay.
I don't know. I think it's just like it would be different if like you weren't trying to kind of get out of that. Because I think a lot of people who say that think that because they're friends with an attractive or someone that they're attracted to, they feel like that person owes them something. And it's like, okay, like just because you find me attractive, like doesn't mean that like
I owe you to text you
right.
back. And that's what I never, that's the first time I heard that. Yeah, that makes a whole bunch of sense. Okay, yeah, that makes a whole bunch of sense. Yeah, that you owe them. I can see, yeah, because I feel like that.
Yeah, but at least you can admit it. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, you're like, okay.
Yeah, because I'm attracted to you. You owe me this. Text me back. You can text me back. I'm attracted to you, dog. On it. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah. That's a good point, Don. But continue. That was you.
Oh, that was it. That's I mean, because a lot of people, I think that's the argument when it comes to like, oh, it's like the nice guy argument, right? It's like, why aren't you dating me? I'm a nice guy, and it's like, okay, but were you nice because you wanted to date me? Are you actually just a nice guy? And I mean,
I've heard. I have like a friend, one of my friends that's a girl. She said the same thing about like dealing with guys like that. Like, they'd rather you just not be my friend at all if you don't plan on staying there. You know what I'm saying?
It's like you're only being nice to get, it's a means to an end. And then if you don't get that, it's, and I'm not saying you, but there are guys like, hey ma, it's like, oh no thanks. Are you ugly bitch? I'm like, first of all, like, I don't even know you.
Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Men are so strange.
Yeah.
I was walking the other day, like, in pretty much the same outfit I'm in with a sweatshirt, just walking, and this guy drives by and honks at me, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm literally just standing, like, just walking.
Yeah.
Like, fully clothed, like.
Yeah.
I don't understand, like, why. So it's just, or I'll tell people, like, so when I used to work at Converse, I hate retail. I hated it. And it's like, I
remember that because I worked at Under Armour the same time.
Yeah.
So I used to stop by a lot. Yeah.
Like, I don't find myself, like, particularly, like, overly attractive or, like, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm just in the world.
Okay.
I'm not, it's not like, oh, I know I'm, like, super pretty. I'm just like, I'm just at work, So I literally had one guy come up to me and, like, try to get my number. And I was like, I'm married. And he was like, well, what that got to do with me? And I was like, nothing, but it has everything to do with me. Like, what? I was like, excuse me?
That's how it is. But marriage is nothing but a ring to some people. It's not really like a covenant or nothing like that to
and it's
people.
like, does that ever work? Like,
I'm sure, depending on the person, I'm sure it does.
It's just wild.
Right.
I don't know. But anyways, that's where I was going. It's like, if you're going to be a nice guy, like, be a nice guy.
Right. Next, kind of like get into your business. So Pretty Honest Candles. Pretty Honest Candles is your. I'm not even call it a small business. It's a business because I respect businesses. So
Thank you.
I know you got 10K followers on that.
Yeah,
you kind of popular. I saw that when I initially like, okay, I want to reach out to Dre about doing this. I'm like, yo, I can't got 10,000 followers. How you, and you only been doing this for 2 years?
Yeah, a little over 2 years.
Like, talk a little bit about the candle business, like getting into it, like why candles and just, so why candles?
Yeah, so, I mean, I love candles. I feel like almost everyone does. And a lot of people don't know this, but my grandma and my mom taught me how to crochet when I was very, very young, like 5. So I've been crocheting my whole life, knitting. So I'm always like creating things, like doing things with my hands.
Right.
I always need a project. And I was like, well, I love candles. Let me see if I can make them.
So this was started off as a passion project? Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I took Lucas to Michael's And I was like, oh, let me just like get some stuff. And he was like, oh, you're gonna like give this up in a few weeks. And I was like, okay, whatever. But I just stuck with it. Like it's just something that now, you know, it's my business and I'm passionate about it, and just being able to like create healthy candles. And, you know, you're not going to
talk about that
headaches.
Because I don't know nothing about candles at all. Other than you can get them from Walmart. But I'm sure Walmart candles are probably not the best candle for you.
Well, so traditional candles are made with paraffin wax, which has a lot of chemicals in it. I make mine with soy wax, and some of them have coconut wax.
Okay.
And so those are, you know, plant-based. They're biodegradable, healthier. You're not going to get, you know, headaches. Like, I know a lot of people are like, I get a lot of headaches when I burn candles, and I'm like, you're not gonna get that. Some of it, the fragrance is so artificial that it's just too much. So I use, you know, high quality fragrance oils.
So they expensive candles, y'all.
They
expensive candles.
Okay. They're not that expensive. But I mean, you know, they're not Bath and Body Works 3 for $10 candles, you know. But,
of course.
But they're all handmade. I make them in small batches. Yeah. So that's really important to me too, is, you know, that they're not just like mass produced candles with no care put into it, essentially.
Right.
But yeah, so I just reached 10K. That was really interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because now I have to swipe up on my stories and like never use it. It was like the only reason. I was like, all right, give me the 10K. And I'm just like, I don't care. Yeah. But yeah, so it's really exciting. It's really interesting to see like not only customers, but how other candle brands or other people who have made candles are like responding to it. One big market that happens every year is Girl Tribe. And they have a Christmas December market. And this lady came up to me and she's like, hey, I follow you. She makes candles. She's like, I follow you on Instagram. I just love your candles so much. Like, you inspire me. And I was just like, what's happening?
You famous.
I was like, what?
She famous, y'all.
No, I'm not. But I was like,
okay.
I was like, me? My brand? And she was like, yeah. She's like, I've been following you for so long, and I love everything you do, your branding, everything. And I was like, oh my God. like, thank you. Like, I was so humbled and like just in shock. Like, I didn't know what to say. And I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things like you never know like who's watching you and like who's inspired by you.
Right.
And I think that goes to like no matter what your audience size is, if it's
preach them.
You know, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, like
2.
Like I know people who are making full livings and they have like 300 followers, and it's like
off of candles.
Well, no, but like just like in business in general.
I'm like, what?
I mean, some people do. You know, they probably are more face to face, and then you know they just have their Instagram. Like I know there's people, other candle makers in Charlotte who barely have an online presence, and they have successful businesses.
That's crazy.
And it's like, dang, like
yeah,
you know, social media is just a tool, but
yeah,
I mean, if you're passionate about it and you love it and you put your heart into it.
So it just started off as a passion. That's crazy. It just started off as a passion project, and then you're like, okay, somebody wants to order this, like.
Yeah, and you know that was also the craziest thing. So the first candles that I ever made, I printed the labels at home. Like didn't really know what I was doing for like that part of it, and like if your hand was like slightly. There was like any humidity in the air and you like took your finger across the label, it would smear. Yeah. And people still bought them. Like some people still have them. And I'm like, how did that ever sell? You know? Yeah. Because it's like, that was far from perfect.
Talking about on the candle or on
the label. Like,
oh, it was smeared?
Like the label. Like it, because I printed them at home and I put them on and it would just be like smear. And I was like, So eventually, obviously, upgraded that. But I mean, people were like, yeah, but I mean, it's still a great candle. And I'm like, okay.
Right. I bet that taught you something about business.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, no matter, where you start from, you can still create this amazing business or like these amazing products, and people are they're gonna stick with you. And if it's not perfect in the beginning, like, I think the great thing about the world today is you have so many opportunities to reinvent yourself or to try something new.
Right.
And again, with social media, it's like you can document that journey, and people love to see that. They love to see like how you're progressing and like what actually is happening behind the scenes.
Right.
So yeah, my little passion project
is a business. So now, do you eventually hope to go full time with that, or are you just going with the flow?
I'm just going with the flow right now.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if I could do it full time, that'd be great. But I also really like what I do, and in social media, and I don't necessarily want to give that up for my candles. But if I can do something that coincides, like I would love to just be a social media manager and like have clients or like put out ebooks and master classes and stuff like that.
You can do it.
I know. And
you said ebook, you said masterclass. It's easy to publish a book. I publish a book. It's easy to publish a book. Masterclass, teachable.com, udemy.com.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm working on now is getting more clients and getting more clients and putting more resources out there, because that was also interesting. I have one client right now, and it goes back to communication, right? It was the stuff that came so easily to me because I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, and they were just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you can't put links in an Instagram caption. It's not clickable. Yeah. And they just didn't know that. And I was just like, okay. And that was kind of like the light bulb moment, right? Where I'm like, okay, so not everyone knows this stuff.
That's
like
not
they really
practice, right?
Don't. Yeah. So where I was like, well, this stuff is too simple. Like no one's going to pay for this information. People just don't.
Right.
That
makes me think about stuff.
Yeah, like they also don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah. So
that's been really interesting.
I read a book, or I'm reading a book. It's by Russell Brunson. He's kind of like not media, but like a business kind of expert, like just expert secrets. And he was saying like when it comes to like people like being leaders, people are afraid of being experts, like or like thinking that to be an expert you got to have like 15 years of experience. But he quoted something off of, what's that movie? The dude, he impersonated the flight attendant.
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
Abernathy, whatever his name is. Or no, Abagnale. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy when he called him said, "How did you teach a class or whatever?" He's like, "It was easy. I just stayed a few chapters ahead." And in the book, the guy was saying like, when it comes to being an expert, you really just need to be a few chapters ahead of somebody else. You really don't need to have like all these many years of experience. You really could just stay a few chapters ahead of everybody else. And I kind of adopt that myself with some things, because like some things you just pick up along the way through your own social media, and then you're like, oh well, maybe that'll help somebody else.
Yeah.
And I sometimes in my own head, I'm like, man, I'm not an expert, because I'm like, I want to do master classes one day and ebook and all that stuff. Just do different things, like be real hands-on with people. And I'm like, man, would people, come to a master class by me or whatever, maybe in a couple of years, but would people come to a master class? I bet they would.
You probably could do it in less than a year.
But in your head, you're like, oh, nobody would do that because I don't have the 10 years of experience. But it's just like, all you gotta do is say a few chapters ahead. Because some people, like, they'll look at me on, a homie, like, was looking at me editing Mac. He was looking at me editing a video one time. He was like, man, it's just like clockwork. I'm like, yeah, because it's easy. It's like when you've been doing it for a minute, it's like, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, I cannot edit videos. Like, I can do the basics, like cut and move stuff. Yeah. But I would take a class. Yeah. Just to learn how to edit video. Because I'm like,
right.
I could put a title page in there, title slide. I can put a transition in there. Yeah. Add a music track. That's about it. Yeah, don't ask me to do nothing crazy.
Yeah, right.
But then even then, it's like learning those things and having the eye to do it where it makes sense is also something else.
That makes sense. Yeah.
If you have that eye.
So talk about like that, like any fears like going into business.
Man,
like
what isn't a fear? I mean, of course, you know, what if no one buys your product? What if it's garbage and everyone hates you? And
then how do you deal with it after that?
I mean, you just do it anyways.
Do it scared.
Yeah.
I forget what movie I heard that off of, but
just
like
do it scared. And I always said if I wrote a book, it was going to be titled like, I have like 1,000 book titles in my head from books that I'm never going to write.
My first book that I wrote, I thought it was going to be like a little mini book, like a little 50 page and turn up 150 pages. And I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, I could actually do this. I didn't know, but yeah.
Yeah, so I said I'm going to title it Just Do It Anyways. Because, again, like with anxiety, like I'm scared of everything. You know, it's like anything that happens, I'm like, oh, am I going to be good enough? Are these people going to like me? I mean, going into job interviews, I'm like, oh. Every job interview I go into, I think I bomb it. Every single one. And then whenever I get, you know, callbacks or jobs, I'm like, I don't know how I did it, but here, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay. But I mean, because what's the worst that can happen? You fail? Like that's not the worst.
Right.
I guess, you know, I don't see failure as like anything to be ashamed of. Like the candle business isn't my first attempt at a business, but who else is like gonna know that, or you know? So it's kind of like the worst thing that could happen is you die. You know,
that's perspective. Like, I mean, that's perspective though.
Because it's like if you have the drive, or you have the mindset of like, that's the worst thing. The worst thing in life. I mean, there's other pretty bad things, but like, if you're looking at it from asking yourself, should I do this or should I not? You know, take the risk. It's like the worst thing is, you die. Really. I mean, I'm not talking about like jumping off a building or something, but like clarifying for the people at home. Like be reasonable. But, you know, that's, and you're going to be scared. Yeah. And one of my favorite quotes is, like, don't worry about the time that it's going to take to reach a goal. The time is going to pass anyways. So. At least
it's passing while you're doing it.
Right. It's like either you are going to make use of that time.
Right.
Or you're going to get 6 months down the road and say that you wish you would have done it sooner. It's like, whatever your goal is, could take you 2 years. Right. But those 2 years are going to go by regardless. Yeah. So you might as well do it.
Right. Shout out all your social media for me, all the business.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, here's a second. Okay.
All right. I'm warmed up. So my personal one, I'm mostly on Instagram for everything. That's like my favorite platform right now. Right. Is Andrea Janine, ANDREA JAHNIN. And then my candle one is Pretty Honest Shop. And then Pumps N Penalties. What else do I have?
And then your social media stuff.
Or
was that just people contact you through?
Yeah,
you
can
have a website for that.
I don't. Actually, I do have a blog.
Okay.
Very new.
Okay.
Mostly about my travels. And that's just AndreaJanine.com. So you can go into my bio, my Instagram, and find that. I eventually do want to put like a services tab up there. But yeah, if you need any social media help,
hit her up.
Reach out to me.
Get some candles.
Yeah.
Listen to her podcast, all that good stuff. But I appreciate you coming on here, chopping it up with me, having some good food. This food was actually bomb. I didn't know what to expect. Because I honestly was gonna go off the wall and get some like pho. I was gonna call it pho, but pho. So, some pho. I was actually gonna go off the wall and do that little pork belly drum. I was actually gonna do that. I was like, no, you said fried rice. But I'm like, okay, cool. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I can do that. And it wasn't bad. And I still got some wings. I'm gonna try it out on later. But yeah, so We went to, what is it, Cilantro Noodles. So definitely check that spot out. Fairly new, right?
Yeah, within the last like 6 months, I think. Yeah. If you want some really good pho, there's Fuda Buddha in.
Can't say that 3 times fast.
In South End. Yeah. Okay. In South End, they have. It is phenomenal.
Never had pho either before too, so I'm missing.
Listen, you just need to go.
Yeah.
Just go, ask them what's good.
Right.
You will not be disappointed.
Word.
I get the fire and ice bowl. It's salmon.
Nice.
It's
like a drink. Fire and ice bowl. All right. It sounds like it sounds kind of.
It's
dangerous.
good. You should absolutely go.
I definitely will. Well, I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you for having me.
Joining me for the second episode.
Yeah.
But until next time, this was Chopping It Up. My name is Drew Muzan. See you guys later. Peace.
Bye.